David, please use the raise hand icon when asking a question. And with that, we can start with questions. If anyone would like to ask the first question, please feel free. Do we have any questions for Daquan?
Daquan, Coach Rule said earlier today there's a chance Shaq comes back this week along with Gilmore, Justin Burris. What would it mean for a defense to get that collection of guys back out there?
I think it would mean a lot. I mean, everybody knows what kind of leader Shaq is, but to have Burrows and all them back too would be huge for the defense. So if that's true, then we're definitely going to be welcoming him back and excited to play with him.
With Shaq in particular, has that been a struggle because he's, kind of in the middle of all that, the way the run defense was an issue a couple times in the last few weeks?
I mean, you can say he's the heart of the defense, man. He's so passionate about what he does and how he carries himself in this building on the field. He was definitely missed, but at the same time, it's the next man up mentality. But it's definitely going to help us having him back next week.
All right, we'll go to Stephen Toronto with the next question.
Daquan, when you were on the Titans, you had two quarterbacks that your team really emotionally responded to in Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill. How do you notice you guys emotionally respond to what Sam Darnold does, whether he's playing well or whether there is adversity like there was yesterday?
I think we all understanding that playing quarterback in this league is hard, and all we can do is really be there for him as teammates. Make sure that we're in this corner. We can't be snickering and talking crap in the locker room, win, lose, or draw. So for us, really, the spark from Sam is knowing that he can go out there every day, win, lose, and draw. That he's gonna have the full confidence of this team.
All right, we'll go to Mike Solarte, followed by Will Palachi.
Hey, Daquan, this is obviously not what you signed up for when you came to the Panthers, but the ebbs and flows, how are you trying to keep the negative noise out as you guys try to fix what's going
on? Coach No says it, every day, so it's the coach rule. It's really us. Us is a problem. So it's not really our opponent does. It's us really going out there and executing to our standard and playing 60 minutes of great football. And really, we just have to keep looking at ourselves and critique each other incredibly hard throughout the week and make sure that we're all doing our jobs at a high level and be able to go out there this week and execute it.
When you say look at yourselves, when you guys look at yourselves in the mirror, what are you seeing right now?
Just missed assignments here and there that is really hurting us, and really, I can only speak for the defense. Is letting little small details go away in practice that happen in practice, see happen in practice, and shows up in games. So we have to really just, when it comes to practice, make sure we knock out all that miscommunication and stuff like that. Big plays that happen. Make sure we really understand what's going on, and make sure we're all doing our job.
Daquan, are teams attacking you guys differently than they did through the first 3 weeks? Do they have like a book on you guys? What's been, I guess, the difference you've seen in the way teams look at you the last 4 weeks?
I just think it's been a lot of, so it's a copycat league, man, and what works against one opponent, another team coming in is probably going to do the same thing. And, since Dallas, it's kind of all the same stuff, really. So we have to go out there and just make sure we just, do our job. We know what's coming, make sure we go out there and do our job and play with the technique that we're coached with and just do our job at the end of the day.
What were the teams that you played the first 3 weeks doing or not doing that these last four aren't?
I mean, I can only really speak for the defense. We're getting a lot of, big people personnel that come out here to try to test us running the ball, and you know what I'm saying, and testing up the middle on the edges and rolling out. I mean, y'all watch the game, y'all see it on tape, y'all can see what teams are doing, what they're not doing. So I mean, if you watch football and you watch us play, you can see it.
All right, we'll go to Joe Person with the next question, followed by Stephen Toronto.
Hey, Daquan, Matt talked a lot about yesterday about kind of not sensing a real sense of urgency from the locker room. You are one of only a few veterans on this team. Do you think some of that might be kind of a leadership void because this is such a young team?
It probably has something to do with it. We just have to really come back and get to what we were the first 3 weeks, and that's playing as a football team. Going out there and having fun and doing all the little things. And I think we got away from that. We lost a couple, and I think people are starting to spiral out of control in different directions. And we have to just keep reminding each other, hey, we're a team, win, lose, or draw. You know what I mean? So we have to just get that back and really go out there and come together as a unit, a dominant unit that we know we can be, and go out there and start stacking these wins.
Because there's so many young guys around you and really at every position group, do you think there is sort of, that maybe not, they don't understand sort of like how you got to bring it every week?
I mean, I think we all know that. I mean, we might be young, but we're men and we play this game and we know what it takes to go out there and compete every day and every Sunday. I just think, being consistent, that's what's hard. You know what I'm saying? I think everyone knows what to do, but it's going out there every day and doing your job at a high level and being consistent. I mean, that's how you stay in this league, and that's how you you win games. We're not the team where we can go out there and being consistent and win games. We have to go out there and do our job at a high level and be very consistent in what we do and win games. So.
Daquan, I don't mean to trudge up anything for you, but your first 2 years in the league, you were on Titans teams that went 2-14, 3-13, and really kind of let things snowball. With that example in mind, how do you talk to this team, which is kind of on the schneid now, and say, hey, here's the example, don't do this, and this is how you don't do this?
These teams are way different. I mean, like the team in Tennessee, I mean, we knew what the problem was. The problem was in the locker room, and we had a lot of guys that were very selfish and greedy and only really played for themselves that early year, 14 to 15. But in this locker room, we don't got a lot of guys like that. A lot of guys want to win and they want to see each other succeed. But right now, we're just not doing it at a high level. I mean, these teams are completely different. Even though we went 2-14, we're 0-4 and lost 4 straight now. Like, they're night and day teams, to be quite honest with you. And it's stuff that we can fix and we have to get fixed. That's pretty much it.
All right, we have time for one more. Let's go to Jonathan Alexander.
Dacon, when a team is not playing at a high level, like you say, why is that typically the case in your experience?
It's frustration out there. Obviously, this is a game where all 3 phases have to play complementary football, and we haven't been doing that. And so the frustration can obviously leak in, and people worrying about one side of the ball and whatnot like that, and different phases. So to me, that's my experience with where the frustration comes in, and we just have to really get over that and grow more as a team, and not let that stuff distract us.
All right, thanks, Daquan.
Thank you, guys.
questions. So if anyone would like to open us up, please go ahead. Does anybody have a question for Ian?
Ian, I'll start. What do you think of? What do you make of some of the recent struggles you all have had in the past 4 games?
I just think we need to lock back into what has worked, and I think we'll be fine after that. And then stand on the field and doing what we do best as an offense, as a team.
Why do you think what's happened hasn't worked?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I'm sorry. That was my fault. Why do you think what has happened or what you all have been doing the past 4 games hasn't worked though?
Just going 3 and outs and not being on the field and having that rhythm throughout the game. So I guess once we fix that part of the problem, then we'll be able to move the ball a lot better and stay on the field and get that rhythm that we need.
All right, we'll go to David Newton, followed by Steven Toronto.
Hey, Ian, how much you think that rhythm has to do with the play calling, and how have you seen the play calling change the last 4 weeks after without Christian in there?
I just think the offense needs to execute as well. So the play calling isn't really the biggest problem. I think the offense, once we execute more, then we can stay on the field longer and help our defense get off the field. So, I mean, it's not really not much has changed, but just the execution as the offense as a whole. So,
why do you think the execution hasn't been there then? Is it just the simple fact of not having Christian in there?
No, I don't think that's the problem, but I mean, I guess we have to figure it out and then just go back to work.
Ian, I have a pair of questions for you. First off, talk me through what happened on the interception near the end of the half yesterday. It looked like you were the intended target, but it didn't necessarily look like you had much of a shot at it either.
I guess he just overthrew it a little, and interception, just plays that happen throughout the game. But I don't think it's like anything specifically I can point out that happened on that play.
And speaking of Sam, the quarterback tends to be the emotional epicenter of the team, and fans, players, they all respond to a quarterback emotionally when things are going well. But when adversity strikes or there's a bad game like yesterday, how do you guys find that you emotionally react or respond to Sam in particular?
We all have Sam back, and I think everyone on the team can say that. And I think we encourage him to do well. So that's our quarterback, and we're going to stick with it. So, I mean, it's not one thing that I can point out that, negative about Sam. So I think we're good.
All right, let's go to Will Pelagic, followed by Joe Person.
Ian, I know it was a couple of weeks ago, but how did that tight end room change after the Dan Arnold trade, and what have you guys tried to do to compensate for him not being here?
I mean, like any other position, if someone leaves, then someone else has to step up. So that's just football. So, I mean, it's not much we really can do but just play football and do our job. So.
And just also real quick, from the standpoint of where you and Tommy sit, what have you guys done with Sam individually to try and make sure that you do have that, or you are that safety valve for him in situations where he might be flushed?
Passes in practice, one-on-ones after practice, talking through it in meetings, ask him what he thinks we should do versus certain situations, and just being on that page and just keeping the communication up to date. And I guess every play we know what he expects us to do, and what we expect out of him if a certain situation happens.
Ian, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
Good to see you. Appreciate you being on this afternoon. What do players do? How do y'all sort of process and digest the news when you guys are sort of linked to a potential big trade target? Whether it's Sean or somebody else. Like, how does that kind of get processed in the locker room?
We come to work and prepare, and do what we do on a weekly basis, and the outside noise is the outside noise. We're just here to prepare and be ready for the next week.
Is it hard to block it out, when your phones are buzzing with news alerts and, this, that, and the other?
No.
All right, we're going to Mike Solarte, followed by David Newton.
Hey, Ian. Happy Monday. As happy as it can be.
Happy Monday.
How do you talked about you guys have Sam's back and you're there to encourage him. How do you pick him up? Because obviously he's struggling right now. The whole unit is struggling right now. But the quarterback position is the focal point. How do you guys try to really lift him up? I mean, do you guys have? I mean, is it just verbal? Is it patting on the back? Is it, some kind of maybe silly magical spell intervention that you guys come up with? I mean, what do you do just to try to lighten the mood and get things back on track?
Talking, of course, that's one of the main points, and just having that communication, make sure everyone is on the same page, I think is one of the biggest points.
But the human nature of it is, I mean, when the guy's struggling and he's the focal point, he's going to be down. He's trying to be the same guy every day, but it's just human nature. So how do you try to lift the spirits up and maybe get him back, just get him back to where he was in the first 3 weeks?
I mean, it's just going throughout that process, like I said before, throughout the week, and just grinding on the next team, and all you can do is just forget about the last game. So I think that's what we try to reiterate every week and prepare for the next team.
Yeah, Ian, David Newton again. I wanted to ask you that the pass Sam threw to you a few weeks ago, I think that really crisp over the middle, maybe in fourth down pass. He looked really sharp, decisive, and on that one, but it seems like there's some hesitancy in a lot of other plays. What have you noticed different about the way he approaches things in the huddle and in the pocket?
I mean, I haven't noticed anything different. I don't know.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions for Ian?
Yes, I have one.
All right, we'll go to Joe Person.
Thank you. Ian, you guys have had a lot of losing seasons here. I know it's not what you want to be a part of. How tough is when Matt tells us that he's not always sure he sees a sense of urgency out of the locker room? How much of that is a byproduct of it being a young roster?
I guess it's just some guys buying in and having guys come to work every day wanting to get better. So I think if everyone's on the same page of wanting to get better and to gel as a team, then I think we'll be all right, and that's what we're working towards.
Do you think the youth does affect that?
No, not at all.
All right, thanks, Ian.
Thank you.
That'll do it for today, guys. Thanks for coming.